Matthew chapter number 24, verses number 10 and 11. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. In verse number 10, not only is Christ talking directly about what's going to happen to the original 12 apostles, where individuals would betray each other, but now this is a multi-fulfillment prophecy, where a prophecy can be fulfilled in several places, not just one time only. It's sort of like when Christ was to return. In the Jewish culture, they believed that there were going to be two Messiahs, because they saw that the Messiah was going to come, or the Mashiach was going to come, but one portrayed him as a suffering servant, one portrayed him as a conquering king. So they believed that a suffering servant Messiah was going to come first, then immediately after him, the conquering king. But as you know, it didn't happen that way. The suffering servant came first, then the conquering king will come second at a different time period, but it will be the same individual. They thought there were going to actually be two individuals. And that's what we have, prophecy being fulfilled in multiple occasions. Now, verse number 11 deals with false prophets. As we can see, in the end time, you have two major end time players. Physically, you have three. You have the devil, and then verse number 5 talks about the false Christ or Antichrist or the beast. Then verse number 11 talk about false prophets, plural, that will arise, and this includes the false prophet as well. If we come over to our graph here, we can see chapter number 13 in the book of Revelation is an inserted chapter in the story flow, but it goes into detail about the beast and the false prophet. So if we was going to put this on our chart in the book of Revelations, this will fall right under our chapter number 13. And we can see Deuteronomy, the 13th chapter, verse number 1 through 5, goes into detail. You see, none of this is new to the Almighty. He has everything figured out, planned out, and plotted out. It talks about the credentials for a false prophet. One credential in the earlier part of Deuteronomy states, if a false prophet gives a sign of wonder and it does not come to pass, then that's how you will know that it is a false prophet. But if you keep reading down in Deuteronomy chapter number 13, let's go to it real quick. It talks about even if a sign or wonder come to pass, if the false prophet says fire's going to fall out the sky, if the false prophet says this image that I made of the beast will come to life, if the false prophet gives a sign of wonder and it does come to pass, but they tell you to serve another God, this is how you will know that it is a false prophet. This represents the second beast in chapter number 13 in the book of Revelation, with the two lamb's horns, portraying himself as a religious figure for peace, a religious figure that wants to join all the world religions together. Just a demon in human manifestation. God warned us about those in him all the way back in the law with Moses. This is what type of foreknowledge the Father has. and Christ is just reiterating the exact same thing. God, we bless you. We give you glory, honor, and praise. Thank God.